Well, good morning. Welcome to New Thought Talk. I am the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center located in beautiful downtown Madera, and I'm glad you joined us today. It's going to be a great day. I've got the Reverend Vicki Dobbs is going to be our guest today. She is a very wonderfully interesting woman. She's got a great story to tell. She has a great spiritual journey that she's walking. She's a wonderful teacher, and there's just a lot of good stuff. So we're going to find out about it today. Vicki, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you joined me today.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, this is great. What I'd like to do is actually open up the show and, with a little bit of Reverend Vicki Dobbs' background. Tell me about your journey. What brought you to where you're at today? And we'll get to where today is in a little bit.
Gosh, my journey. Well, born right here in Fresno and been here forever, and still here in Clovis. Went through all the local schools through Fresno State. Married 40 years. Yikes. 2 wonderful kids, and number 2 grandbaby due shortly.
Dynamite.
What can I say? I was gifted the book Medicine Woman by Lynn Andrews about 13, 14 years ago. And I think that started this walk that I'm on right now. It kind of opened my eyes to being all that I could be, as opposed to all that I thought everybody else thought I should be.
Right.
And that's a big step.
Now, you're besides being a spiritual leader, teacher, you're also a very successful businesswoman here in the local Fresno area, and that's another journey that maybe we'll talk about sometime. But the idea that you have taken and moved into this spiritual path that you're walking, and you said it started with the Medicine Woman book from Lynn Andrews, and I understand Lynn's got a pretty large international organization, and that you participate in that on a regular basis, I guess.
Do. I graduated from Lynn's 4-year school. I'm mentoring her school now, and this year I'm coordinating her second school called Writing Spirit the School, which is a journey into yourself as a writer. It's not about how to write. It's about finding yourself as a writer, bringing your words, your voice out from an authentic place.
That's great, because in New Thought, one of the things that I encourage people to do is to journal, for example. Write your story. You don't have to be, Ernest Hemingway or Virginia Woolf or something like that. Just write your story, and you make that connection. So you're teaching that. Now, the classes that you're teaching, this is through the Lynn Andrews organization.
Right, yes.
But you also have other classes that you teach.
I do.
Specifically for you. Now, you teach them, I know you have a facility at your house that you teach, but you also teach out in other areas. Tell me, before we get into some of the specifics, tell me generally the types of classes that you teach.
Well, I think it's about self-awareness.
Okay.
If you can go into the very basics, the bottom of what the program stands for me, it's about personal empowerment. It's about walking your authentic self out into the world, about bringing voice to your truth so that you can stand without masks. We all grow up with, well, you're a girl, you should do this, and you're a boy, you should do this, and mom says do this, and dad says do this, and the teacher says this way, and the pastor says this way, and grandma did it that way, and each one of those personas in a metaphorical sense carries a mask.
Yes, it does.
And so we put that mask on for each situation we think requires that mask, and pretty soon we've got layers upon layers that shroud us. And so I'm looking at this, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken" by Oscar Wilde.
That's a great quote.
And I like that. That's what I hope I can bring to people in teaching, using sacred tools, using guided meditation, using journey work, journal work, art. It's a very introspective study to bring your extrovert out.
Well, that's good. You know, in New Thought, and I'm going to refer back to that. This is New Thought Talk,
Yes.
after all. But I like sharing parallel, or you know, we walk a very similar path. Maybe not in the exact same steps, but we definitely, you know, from my understanding, we parallel in our understandings of so many things. But what you're telling me is, and this is something that, you know, is very near and dear to my heart, is it all comes from within.
Exactly, exactly. It's, you know, a candle loses none of its light in the lighting of another candle.
That's so true.
And so if each one of us who in our own selves is light, shares that with the world, it just gets to be brighter. And, you know, the darkness defines the light. There's a balance there that has to be. That's just the nature of our universe. But if our lights are brighter, there's less darkness seen.
That's right. You know, and the thing is that we have a source. You know, however you want to define that source, we have that source that is unlimited.
Absolutely.
You know, how bright do you want your light to shine? The only limitation is the choice.
Right.
And it's whether it's a choice in ignorance or a choice in consciousness, it's a choice nonetheless.
Right.
What is your choice? How bright do you want your light to shine? And today, in this world, in the environment that we live in today, the importance of each and every one of us taking a responsibility for our lives and building our light up. We change the world. And I think this is so exciting what you're doing. You're sharing this knowledge with people, because not everybody is going to want to walk through the door of a New Thought Center. Right. Because they, you know, maybe their backgrounds, their interests, their spiritual path, if you will, takes them in a little bit different way. And so, you know, someone like you've got an open door to these people, and they come in and they get it.
Right.
And that's wonderful. And I know that you've seen people in your teaching experience that you've watched them go from that dim little candle and they just open up.
Oh, yeah.
How incredible is that?
It's amazing. Some of the journeys I've been so blessed to witness would just knock the socks off of somebody. I mean, you talk about a made-for-TV movie, it would be, really? Nah, somebody made that up. But and there's no better way to describe it than blooming. I mean, to quote a phrase from, and I'm sorry I don't remember the name behind it, but this wonderful program called Blooming Humans. And it's like, wow, I mean, that's what we're all doing, is blooming humans. Yeah.
And just, you know, we continue to unfold, and I believe it is Buddhism that uses the lotus as that example, that, you know, that continual unfoldment, getting ever and ever more to the essence, if you will.
And look what a lotus grows in. Mud.
Yeah.
Muck. Dingy, dark, yucky water that we probably wouldn't want to swim in. Here's this most amazing, exquisitely beautiful creation that comes out of the muck, and that's what every human being is. And has the potential to be. So
what do I got to do? You know, where do I have to be? Is there something I have to qualify in order to start my journey, or can I just start?
I think it absolutely is like every spiritual, religious, doctoral organization, thought pattern that I've ever read about. You simply say, I'm ready. I will. I am. You make that choice, you make that commitment, and you begin to take those steps. And you have one foot in front of the other, and you walk down that path. Yeah. You start finding worth in yourself. That's good. So someone working with Vicki Dobbs, Reverend Vicki Dobbs, for the first time, where is it that you would say that would be the point of starting in my journey? Is there a class, a book? When someone comes to you, Vicki, what do they, because I'm not familiar, what kind of questions do they ask you, and where do they go? Well, I think each person's on an individual journey, so their place in their spiral of life is different, every single person. So I think it starts with a conversation. Hey, what are you up to? What do you want? Where do you want to go? Why are you here? Yeah. And from those answers, you begin to make an energetic connection to somebody. And My goal is to connect heart to heart, not head to head.
Okay. That's
So that it's not a thinking process, it's a feeling process. Use the medicine wheel a lot as a metaphor for life, as a divination tool, as working around issues, problems, situations. Bring a lot of shamanic practices into the work that we do.
okay.
That really is just about connecting energy of one thing to another and recognizing that everything, animate and inanimate, is alive.
It's that energy, energy. You say that word, and that's a word that I utilize a lot in my teaching. When you break everything down, you get down to that final stuff, and you go beyond that, it's just energy.
Sure.
And energy vibrates at levels, and that vibrational experience responds to other vibrational levels. And
Right.
so as you begin to teach, you're creating an energetic vibrational experience in that teaching that you do, and the person that's working with you, if they get it, and it's a heart connection.
Right.
It's we can all get the book learning.
Yes.
It's book learning is fine. Keep it in the library. This is a practicing, spirituality is a practicing experience. It's not sitting on a shelf somewhere.
It's not a dogma. It's not a ritualistic, repetitious. If I do this every day, then I get this every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a lifestyle of living, about recognizing and honoring that life energy in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you begin to respect that everything is alive, same as me,
Mm-hmm.
then you begin to look at things differently. And the humanness in us allows for us to all crash and burn. But it's the tools I hope to bring to people to give them the opportunity to say to themselves, whoa, gosh, fell back into that human mode again. Let's see if I can move myself into a different place without pills, without booze, without, I create a toolbox for yourself. And then when you can't get your toolbox open, you seek help.
Speaking of tools, we're
Yes.
getting ready to go to a commercial break, but this young lady has a great, it's just an inventory of tools that she's brought here today, but we're going to learn something special about these tools, how they come about, and how she relates to those things. So we're going to our commercial. When we come back, we're going to hear about some of the tools that Vicki works with and what she does with those.
Super.
Hi, I'm Greg Rude, a local real estate agent working with London Properties. You might be thinking about buying or selling a property right now, or maybe you just have a question about real estate. I'd love to help you with that. Give me a call at 352-7716, and I can answer any questions that you might have. Maybe you've got a property that's upside down. Maybe you're interested in buying a bank foreclosure and have a question about that. Or maybe you just like someone to show you some houses that you're interested in or have a question about a particular property. Once again, give me a call. My name's Greg, 352-7716, and I'd love to help you. Thanks.
This just in. Tower District houses are selling for as little as $300 per month. If you have a job and decent credit, you can own your own home. If you can come up with a down payment, you can own a home a lot cheaper than you can rent, and your payment will never go up. Also, you could deduct most of your house payment from your income taxes. If you'd like to lock in your monthly house payment at $300 to $500 per month for the next 30 years, call Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
Hi, I'm Jason Gobelli, and I'd like you to take just a minute and ask yourself a couple of questions. Are your needs being met in the real estate business? Are you getting all the latest technology that you need to be productive in this market? Are you getting the benefits that you deserve? Do you have enough leads? Are you truly making enough money for all that hard work and time you've been putting in? If not, you might want to give me a call and we can set up a confidential interview. At Connect Realty, we're one of the fastest growing companies around. There's tons of tools and benefits for agents, like freerealtor.com showcase listings, free unlimited virtual tours, free websites with nationwide IDX, We have free virtual back office, free compliance coordinator so that you can be paid right away. There's health insurance, life insurance, and the best part is the commissions start from 80% and go to 95%. And we have one of the best retirement plans in the whole industry. Now, I cannot possibly go over everything in just this short minute. Go to the website, careers@connectrealty.com, or feel free to call us at the toll-free number, or you can even call my personal line, 559-307-0550. I look forward to talking to you. Thanks.
This segment is brought to you by Corrine Hatfield of Platinum Mortgage. If you are thinking of purchasing a new home or refinancing an existing home, call Corrine Hatfield at 917-7111.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back to our second segment of New Thought Talk today. I am the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center located in the beautiful downtown Madera area. Today my guest is Reverend Vicki Dobbs, and we've been talking about some of her background, some spiritual things, and now we're going to talk about some of the things that she does. If you take a look, you can see that wonderful background behind us is a picture of some really beautiful drums. And those drums happen to be products of what Vicki does. Those are her drums. And so we're going to go into three different segments, but we'll start with the drum first. I want to read you a little bit from her flyer. She says, Drum Magic, a sacred wisdom workshop presented by Vicki Dobbs. In this workshop, you are going to create a single-sided hoop drum that will become a sacred tool for you to use as a bridge between spirit, body, and mind. We will sit in sacred circle, do meditation and journey work together as you create and forge a new connection with your own drum. Vicki, those drums are beautiful. You came out to our center last year. My wife participated in that drum making. I have, various other people in the congregation, and the word that came back to me was just incredible. It was a great spiritual experience. And I'm going to have you, share with us in just a second. It's not just come together. Here's the arts and crafts. We put it together, and you're done. Tell us about this. It really is a spiritual journey in making something that is my understanding. When it's all said and done, it's not just a drum. That there is a deeper connection there. Tell us about it.
It's a partnership. You're creating a sacred tool, an energetic partnership with something that is perceived to be inanimate when in fact it's as alive as you and I. We do ceremony to honor the giveaway of the trees that create the body of the drum, of the animals, the four-leggeds, if you will, whose skins that we use to create the vibration and the sound. So it's about honoring the creation process, not just a craft project.
That life energy that becomes ultimately the part of this drum.
See, if you look at the basics of energy, I mean, what we all learn in high school is that energy is neither created nor destroyed. So if that's the case, all we're doing is redesigning that particular energetic, using where it's come from and putting it into something new.
So your class comes together, and there's meditation that goes on. There's a whole you introduce them to the various aspects of each component in the drum. And you were talking about the four-legged, what ultimately becomes the skin. What if I were to participate in your drum making workshop? What types of materials are available? Do I have a choice, or is it pretty much standard? Tell me about that.
Well, it kind of depends on each class and the availability of materials. We generally use elk, buffalo, horse, deer, hides for the faces of the drums. The frames are sometimes multi-sided, cedar, red or white, or round hoops are generally in a cedar or in a maple laminate. I have 2 or 3 different frame suppliers, so sometimes it depends on availability and sometimes on cost and what people want. If they want round or if they want the multi-sided, who I order the frames from.
So each person, when they do this is part of the process. Do you work with them as they select what particular type of hide they want, or is this part of the meditative process they do, or do they come to you already knowing ahead of time? How does that work?
If it's a one-on-one workshop, then we do discuss the different energies of the different wood and the different animals. When it's in a group setting, generally I bring the same for everybody, because at that point it's about creating a sacred tool and learning what that tool is about. It's not so much about the individual parts as it is the whole.
Okay.
The individual parts carry their own energy, and that becomes a process of then investigation by the participant.
Okay.
So there's a meditative process to sanding the frame, to finding the snags that you get hung up in your life, to find where life has splintered for you, and smoothing out the rough spots that you may be dealing with right now.
Well, that's outrageous. That's really good.
Yeah.
What a life metaphor that is.
It is, and it can be a kind of an intense journey situation, and putting the drums together deals with a weave of infinity about that continual. It breaks, how do you fix it and keep the flow going, and how do you keep that movement of across and back, and you move out in the world, you come back into yourself, you move out and you come back.
That's really great. At our center, and I know at various other centers and churches, we use drumming. We come together as a group, and we use drumming to raise a certain energetic level, to raise a certain celebratory feeling, if you will. And the people that have had the experience of working with you and making their drums, what they bring, you can really sense it, as they're going through this. And ultimately, drumming is a vibrational experience. And once again, we get back to that energy, that it's all vibration, and it's really interesting to watch people when they get really into the drumming, and you can see the consciousness make that shift from, okay, I'm here, and then all of a sudden it's like boom. And sometimes I've seen really wonderful and heard people share really wonderful experiences as a result of drumming, and having their own self-created tool. What a gift you bring to people, when you do that, and you teach them and stuff, and you teach them the understanding, the background, the experience and stuff. And so they put these drums together with Vicki, and they do all the assembly, and it's not done. They've got to wait. And so what happens?
Well, I call it the gestation period. And it really is about connecting with your drum. Once it's finished, it's not about beating your drum, because I don't teach beating a drum. It's playing a sacred instrument.
Yeah.
And so in that time frame of gestating this drum, I ask the participants to spend time with their drum, to move over the face of it, to massage it, to hold it, to tap and listen to the different voices that it may be ready to share, to really become a partner with this drum. And then we do a drum awakening ceremony, sometimes a few days, sometimes a week, or a few weeks down the road. And in that process of that waiting time, they can hang their drum in a tree and let it absorb the songs of the wind, and maybe have it out in a full moon to bring in that energy of newness, of opening the dreams, of there's a lot of different exercises that a person can do in that gestating period to create the sacred partnership. And then we birth the drums, and the first song of each drum belongs to the drum. So we ask their partner to just get out of the way and get out of their head and just begin to play with the drum and let the drum share its first song.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really neat. And again, I've talked to people that have had that experience, and it touches them at a very different level. And the thing is, spirituality is very, very individual to each and every one of us. Right. And to, people that want to participate in this type of thing are people that are really, they are searching, they're walking their journey, their path. And when they come across someone like you that can help them, and what you're doing is helping them, guiding them along their path, and showing them directions, and then they make that step, and they go to the next step in their path. It's just, it's an amazing experience.
It is.
You know?
It's very cool.
And it's just, and I know you do this at other centers besides ours. That, you know, New Thought Center, you've done drum making classes over there, and
Done a couple over there, and actually we created with them a community drum this last summer. That's a 36-inch double-sided powwow type drum, big drum, and suspended through the center of it is a pouch of crystals.
Wow.
That are donated from people in the church or things that wanted to be in that energetic.
So this is a drum for the church, the center itself.
Yes. Yeah.
And they use it in their celebration practices, their
Right.
sacred stuff.
It's also used in their healing work.
In their healing.
Yeah, Rachel created this amazing frame on wheels that the drum sits in.
Uh-huh.
And participants can lay on the floor and the drum is drummed over them as they lay under it.
Cool.
And when you are connected with your drum, when I do this with my drum,
Uh-huh.
I will hear a change in the drum when you move over an energy block in a person.
Really?
We show this in our Drum Awakening class where each person is drummed by their drum. And they, you can hear changes. And it's, you know, somebody's got a knee that hurts and the drum will change as it passes over that knee. It's picking up a blocked energetic. And
Well, you know, it's not, I guess, really amazing when you think about how long through the span of mankind that drum has been a significant part of the
Right.
spiritual experience. You know, that vibration and obviously the healing and stuff. That's pretty awesome stuff.
Well,
That's
again,
really
you take something like a drum, and it can be used. For me, it's a form of prayer.
okay.
It's a place where, in my drumming, I can move myself into a state of connecting with my God.
Okay.
And so the vibration of that drum carries my prayers to Spirit, God, Goddess, Creator, that source that you talked about that is all.
Yeah.
It's a healing tool. If I'm feeling blue, I can go drum myself into a different energetic. If I'm wanting to get an answer and I'm stuck on it, I had a girlfriend tell me to go drum and write. And so I sat with my big drum and I drummed with my left hand and I had my right hand on a journal and I would just listen and write.
Cool.
And so the uses are as varied as the people who have a drum.
You know, modern science has found that we have, you know, various beats that the brain responds to and stuff, and they actually have, you know, they have ways of delineating, you know, the alpha waves and
yes.
you know, beta and all these things, and they, you know, they're, if you want to get high tech, you can get into something called brain entrainment, where they're using tones and sounds, but it's the same thing as a drum beat.
Yes.
You know, it's getting that beat and stuff and creating that level of meditative state. What a great deal.
Well, Christine Stevenson from Upbeat Drum Circles has done some amazing research, written a great book, and Western medicine is really beginning to see the healing qualities of drumming. Corporate America is seeing it as team building activity, and so there's really a lot of today's Western thought that is seeing the value of drums and drumming.
Beginning to open up to
Yeah,
Well, that's
and so it's my own medical doctor asked me to bring him some information
Oh,
on
great.
it.
That's
It's like,
wonderful.
Go doc, you know.
Okay, we're going to have to cut away to our next break. Time just flies by. But drums aren't the only thing. And so when we come back, we're going to find out about some of these other things. So we'll see you when we come back.
I cannot believe how expensive funerals are today. Nancy said she spent more than $12,000 on John's service. Now, when Mom took ill, we went to Sterling & Smith and prearranged her funeral for less than half of what Nancy spent. Sterling & Smith has a beautiful facility, professional staff, and packages that start below $3,000. It It was more than a funeral, it was truly a celebration of life.
At Sterling & Smith, we believe that a high-quality service should be affordable to everyone. Let us help you plan for the inevitable. Call us today, because you just don't know about tomorrow.
America's Sub Shop has arrived in the Tower District. Blimpie's is the best place to get delicious sandwiches, salads, baked goods, and smoothies at reasonable prices. You won't believe the great value of Blimpie's $5 combo deals. The fresh baked bread and big bowl taste will bring you in, and the friendly service and great prices will keep you coming back. A Blimpie sandwich is great on your lunch break or as a healthy meal for the whole family. Try Blimpie's today, located directly across from the Tower Theater. We know you'll love it.
Welcome to Voice of the Valley. I am your host, Kathy Wilcox, and two of Kathy's favorite things are going to be featured on the show today. Number one is money. Number two, alcohol! Alcohol! My first guest.
Back and forth ever so gently.
I have to get up. I have to show you this dress because I think it was made for me. Doesn't this just scream Maryland? I'm dressed for my Christmas parade outing, as you can see. Reindeer. Oh.
Number one selling wine from Argentina.
Argentina.
Kathy Wilcox, Voice of the Valley. Wednesdays at 2 on Channel 43.
Hi, Bill Carmichael here, manager of Valley Gold Mine Fresno. I'd like to tell everybody that we've relocated to the Tower District at 1212 North Van Ness Avenue. If you have any broken or unwanted jewelry you'd like to get top dollar for, give us a call at 559-970-8660. Also, we're on the web at www.valleygoldminefresno.com. If you're the type that likes to entertain at home, we have some gold parties that we can tell you about. And also, if you have children in schools and they have trouble raising funds, we have a great fundraiser that works as well. Once again, my number is 559-970-8660. Thank you.
This segment is brought to you by David Parker from the law offices of Parker, Kern, Nard, and Wenzel.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, welcome back once again to New Thought Talk. We are now entering our third segment. My guest today is the Reverend Vicki Dobbs. We've been talking about spiritual journeys, spiritual tools, in particular drum making, and now we're going to be talking about some other spiritual tools. And the next one I want to talk about, she does a class that is entitled Rattle Wisdom, a Sacred Wisdom Workshop. The rhythmic sound of a rattle is a calming force, a healing vibration, the spiritual made physical. Listen to the sound of a rattle and feel your body, your mind, and your spirit merge with its voice and become one with it. Become the sound, become the harmony that is carried in the voice of your rattle. What a great description, Vicki.
I'm sure I copied that from somebody. I've had some amazingly wonderful teachers throughout the years. A woman named Lindy Morris who went by Morning Star, and gosh, just some great teachers. And so using the scraps from the drum making process, we then create rattles. And I try to create most of them on sticks that I find. That one actually came from the waterfall that I love to visit. And
what's this?
That's buffalo fur.
That's buffalo fur.
Yeah. So
cool. That's very, very cool.
They make great additions to drum circles.
Okay.
When people can't carry a drum, they can bring a rattle. Rattles will also pick up energetic blockages, the same as your drum will. They can be used in a soft swishy or a very loud and powerful movement of energy. And again, they can be a very meditative source of ease, that you can move yourself into a space of finding your own answers.
Okay, so the drum or the rattle workshop. how does that, we talked about the drum workshop. What happens at the rattle making workshop? Is that?
It's a very similar process. Generally, I have a lot of scraps, and as they are distributed, people will their egos begin to get into it. Well, I think I want this one. Well, I thought I wanted that one. And so it becomes that process of reminding people that their ego doesn't have to control, that they can trust that what they get or what they choose exactly right in the moment that they are receiving it. Often after the fact, oh my God, I can't believe when I looked up that's what it was so perfect.
So it's still, even in the process, going through the scraps and the stuff there, becomes a spiritual journey, if you will, to put this stuff together.
Yeah.
And once again, having that rhythmic sound, whether it's the drumming sound or the rattle sound, in New Thought, Science of Mind, and other New Thought philosophies, one of the things we say, if you don't like where you're at, now is the time to change it. And what we often say is change your thinking, change your life, which is great. But sometimes that's just not easy to do. But if you've got something that you're working on and you want to change that, and you begin to, whether it's a rattle or a drum, and you create that vibration, that sound, you let your mind drift in, focus into that vibration, you can open up doors and begin to allow some of that old thinking to fall away.
Sure. And
open up to a new thought, if you will, and through that new thought then, creating a whole new life experience.
You can shake out that block that's keeping you from changing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so we got the drums, we got the rattles. Let's look at the other one here that you have, because, this is the art of working with feathers. Feathers are great partners in the healing arts and in ceremony and prayer. As my spirit friend, Morning Star, says, feathers hold a magic and a mystery about them as we find them on our journeys through life, floating from the sky at an auspicious time on our trail. They are a gift from Spirit, and the earth conspiring on our behalf to lead the way. And you know what? Now I live up in the mountains. My wife she has found hawk feathers and owl feathers, and we've got flicker roadrunner feathers, and we've got raven feathers, and all sorts of these different feathers, and she oh yeah, this and they all have meaning.
Absolutely.
Tell me about it a little bit. I mean, just not, you don't have to get into the specifics of, but tell me the idea of the meaning behind the individual being that has gifted this feather.
I think that again, Ted Andrews has a wonderful book called Animal Speak.
I'm familiar with it.
That will really help you see maybe a message or a connectedness. I remember waking one morning way back when I first started reading Lynn's books to this god-awful cacophony of birds outside my house, and it's like, what is going on? Roll over, try to go back to sleep, and it's like, oh no. So I get up to go see what's going on, and I never saw the birds. But in the front yard we have 4 trees, and there were 3 pairs of feathers, a crow and a blue jay, in between each tree. So for me, go study on the number 3, go study on the blue jay, go study on the crow, I don't know, but for me it was an awakening. It was being shaken awake and said, the slumber that you are in isn't working for you anymore. Wake up. And here's this beautiful gift. You actually listened, you woke up, and look at this gift. You have these beautiful feathers.
Now, what kind of feathers are these?
This is wild turkey. I have a dear friend whose husband hunts, and so he takes in a very sacred manner the food that they eat, and she gifts me the feathers for my creativity.
Cool.
I have another friend up in McFarland who had what I affectionately call her herd of turkeys that lived near them. They fed them. The turkeys left them feathers. So
all right.
I have
and this is buffalo again?
That's buffalo again. Buffalo in Native American tradition is a symbol of abundance.
Okay.
They use the buffalo, as do some use the turkey, all parts.
Okay.
So whether it was bones, teeth, the sinew, the meat, the fur, it was abundance for them. When you had buffalo, you were rich.
So I have this. How do, what is the, what is the procedure that
Well, I mean, it's a fan. It's
Okay.
warm under these lights.
Well, I didn't,
Yeah, I use fans for moving energy.
Okay.
If my house feels stale and depressed and dark and heavy, the energy in there, I can light a favorite incense and I can move it through the house, and I'm helping just to move the energy, open a door, open a window, and move it out. Ask it to leave.
Okay.
And as it's going, ask for a lighter, happier, more livable energy to come back into my home. You can do the same thing with people. I may see something that doesn't really fit on you and brush it off.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, this little thing sitting up there you didn't really need.
There you go.
And so you can cleanse auras, you can clear space. So feathers are
So that's a handy tool to have around,
again, it's
even
a-
if you're not in a major ceremonial type
Exactly.
experience, just something around the house, that you can use. And I know also, I do know that for people that are doing, saging as
Yes.
precursor to a spiritual ceremony, that
clearing space.
having that.
Yes.
So you teach these. We have Vicki's contact information up there, and so if people want to get a hold of you, that they can reach you, and someone can call you up or get a hold of
Absolutely.
you and say, I want to have this class or whatever. Is there a minimum that you need to have a class, or tell me a little bit
Depends
about
on
it.
how far I have to travel. If I'm coming to Madeira, the minimum is very small because obviously my cost in getting there is not very much. If I'm going to England
Okay.
and teaching a class, which, knock on wood, and the spirit's willing, next spring or summer.
Really?
I hope so, yes.
Oh, international teacher. That's
Yeah.
great.
And there was just a new group started in Europe that's working with Lynn's teachings, a lot of her students and some of her graduates, and so I'm hoping at some point to be able to go there, watch my nephew play basketball, teach a few classes.
Oh, great.
And so, yeah, my retirement dream is to be out there just bringing this wonderful experience that I've had to other people and sharing it.
That's great. So you, logistics being perfect, you'll go pretty much anywhere to
I will.
share
I
this
will.
teaching.
And the cost is really about the journey itself. So it's not real expensive to do it locally. I'll be doing a class at the Brass Unicorn in mid-November, I believe.
Okay.
We're working on another drum making class at New Thought in Fresno. I have a series of monthly teachings that will be starting in January that are shorter teachings. Come to all of them, come to one of them. They will build on each other, but each stands as its own.
Now this is like a spiritual teaching versus like a workshop, right?
Well, each of my classes involves creating something.
Okay.
Because one of my teachers said if you can bring it and anchor it in the physical, you're more likely to remember it in the spiritual.
Cool.
So we all take notes when we go to a class, and what do we ever do with the notes again? And so for me, Stalking Your Dream, we do a painting.
Okay.
And in each of these other workshops, you create something. One is a prayer tree, one is a questing journal, one is finding a power spot that you can return to for other exercises. So each one has something created in the physical that you have as a reminder of the journey that you've taken spiritually.
Cool. So we've got Stalking Your Dream, a sacred wisdom workshop. We talked about working with feathers, rattle, wisdom, drum magic. So there's a whole list of various classes that you offer, and you need to get a hold of Vicki if you're interested in this type of stuff. And we're going to take a break before our last segment. When we come back, we'll have a few more words with Vicki, and time just goes by too darn fast. We'll see you when we get back.
Tantastic Tans and Boutique is your one-stop shop for beauty and fashion needs.
Located on the southwest corner of Herndon and Milburn, Tantastic Tans and Boutique is open 7 days a week, from 10 to 7 on weekdays and 10 to 6 Saturday and Sunday. We offer top-of-the-line tanning equipment, including 20-minute beds, 12-minute beds, 12-minute stand-up beds, and we also have a high-pressure Supernova Ultra Bronze bed. In addition to tanning, we offer teeth whitening starting at $39.99. Tantastic Tans and Boutique offers a full boutique of women and children's clothing and accessories. Come in and check out our LA Idol shorts and capris. Find us on Facebook.com/TantasticTans or call 432-TANS. That's 432-8267.
Hey guys, are you watching CentralValleyTalk.com? Are you under 30 or under 30 at heart? Because if you are, you should be watching my show, Basically Brandon, 10:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights. Mark your calendars, you guys, because it's chaos here on Wednesday nights. We have animals, reptiles, cheetahs, actors, singers. It's chaos. And you guys need to be watching, because it might sound like I'm describing Barnum and Bailey's Circus, but I'm actually describing my web show, Basically Brandon, on Wednesday nights, 10:30 p.m.
President of CentralValleyTalk.com. In these tough economic times, we've got to find creative ways to reach our advertisers and our clients. CentralValleyTalk.com gets 50,000 hits every single month. We could put your advertisement on CentralValleyTalk.com and you can enjoy those 50,000 hits for as little as a penny per hit. Call me at the Mike Briggs Properties building at 486-6758. Advertise on CentralValleyTalk.com. Call 486-6758.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Mike Briggs Properties has a very special historic property for sale that can be used as a home or as a business. This classic California craftsman historical home is located in the Tower District, Fresno High area. The interior ambiance displays a heyday of craftsman aesthetics, substance, strength, symmetry, and casual grace. Elegantly appointed mahogany and oak structural elements integrate form and function in a harmonious flow from room to room in this two-story, 4,500-foot home. The property also includes a nearly 800-foot two-bedroom apartment above the garage. This property is well suited for a professional office type of business or for a large family or combined living and workspace. The lot included with this property is park-sized with plenty of room for expansion or as a parking lot big enough to support a commercial business. For more information on this property, call Mike Briggs Properties at 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Is our fourth and final segment for today. You know, I say this every week. Time goes by so darn fast, and I've got another hour's worth of stuff to talk about, but we'll have to do it for some other time. Right now, Vicki, it's been a great show. I hope that you get an understanding and a feel for what Vicki does, what she brings to the table. I can tell you personally from people that have interacted with her and have taken her classes, it's been a very powerfully, spiritually changing experience for them. And if you're thinking about it, I want to encourage you to do it. And you were talking during the break about Lynn has got some stuff going on. Joshua Tree is coming back to California.
Yeah.
You're working with the Lynn Andrews Group. Is that a big time commitment for you? And is that, tell me, actually tell our audience a
Sorry.
little bit about the whole Lynn Andrews thing, if you would.
Well, Lynn Andrews is at lynnandrews.com. You can find the information yourself. She has a 4-year school that I mentor in. This year I'm doing second year, which is all about sacred tools. I'll go figure why I love that class. Her annual public gathering called Joshua Tree has been in New Mexico for the last 6 years, and it's coming back to California this next 2013 tail end of May, first week in June, to Joshua Tree, where it all started 25 years ago.
And you'll be there.
So, and I will be there, and love the event. It's an awesome personal journey every year. Also Hawaii in December. That one's on my agenda. We'll see if the grandsons cooperate, so I get to go this year. But
that's great.
Yeah, she does a great event in Hawaii.
Well, that's wonderful. So, what type or who would seek out Lynn's class?
Anybody interested in really moving back and finding their authentic self. Her school agenda is really, I tell people, it will take you deep within, twist you up, spit you out, kind of re-mush what comes out and allow you to take it back into what is authentically you. So it's not an easy trip.
And for you,
it takes courage.
It has been a life experience.
It's been a life-changing and a life-saving experience. When we lost our son, it was these teachings, this circle of family that has embraced me, that helped me through a really hard life experience. And it's given me the opportunity to be able to teach from a place of knowing. So I work with people struggling with grief, all kinds. I mean, we grieve a whole lot in life, more than just loss.
Yes, we do.
And I love counseling with people. I do a shamanic type counseling. Some people call it psycho-spiritual counseling. For me, it's just about helping you connect with yourself. The whole journey for me, the whole teaching thing for me, is really about helping people find their authentic selves.
Dynamite.
And like I said, taking the masks off.
Very good. Vicki, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a really interesting show.
Oh, it always is, Steve. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
you take
you.
care. And
I will.
You got a grandson that's
Off to baby shower
there you
today.
Go. That's great.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it today as much as I did, because I really enjoyed it. New Thought, we keep, unlike a lot of philosophies, we keep our consciousness open to many different things, because we understand that for each and every individual, as you walk your spiritual path, you being an individualized aspect of the divine creative force, your path's not going to be exactly the same as mine. But all paths lead to the same ultimate point. And so, it's my hope that as we bring guests in from other teachings that are what I would call possibly parallel journeys, that you can incorporate this into your experience and maybe take advantage of it. Like I say, if you happen to be local here to the Fresno area, or if you, as Vicki was saying earlier, are able to create the abundance to bring her to Europe or wherever you're at, please contact her. She is a great teacher. She has a lot to offer that's a wonderful gift. And I'm really happy that she was on the show today. And this show, we provide this show each week to you so that you can get an understanding of some levels of spirituality that, for many people, they haven't had an avenue, an opening to really see and get this type of information. And that's why I'm here, is to see to it that this information gets out. I was talking to someone and he was telling me that just the basic statistics, there's about 1% of the general population that lives their life in a New Thought way. And you have almost 2 million people here in the Fresno area. You do the math, that's a lot of people. you take that out to a greater area, that's even a greater number of people. But I'll tell you the importance of this, and it's not about the numbers of people exactly, but it is about the numbers in some way, because, you know, when we begin to open our consciousness up, we begin to understand that God is greater than we've been led to believe that God is, and that God is very personal and personalized to each and every one of us as we bring that consciousness into our lives. And as I was talking to Vicki earlier in the show today, we let our light shine. As you let your light shine, you change not only yourself, you change not only your family environment, but you change your community environment, and through your community environment, you can change the world. I tell people in my congregation from our center right there in the middle of beautiful downtown Madera that we can change the events on a worldwide basis when we open ourselves up to an understanding that truly there is just one, it's a unity, and we all have our ability to interact with and to affect it. When we hold it in consciousness, the good that God is, spirit or whatever you want to call it. And that's why we put these shows on. I hope that you, when you come each week, you get a sense of what it is that we're trying to teach, and then you take that sense and you apply it in your life. Because I guarantee if you put this stuff to work in your life, whether you're using spiritual tools like Vicki was talking about, or whether you just go to meditation or journaling or whatever else it is, when you begin to change your thinking, you will change your life. And that's incredible. It's really good. So if you would like, you can support our program. There is a link right here on the Central Valley Talk page for you to make a PayPal contribution, or you can go to Madera Spiritual Awareness, MaderaSAC.com. We have a donation page there where you can pay through PayPal. But either way, please make note that what your donation is for the New Thought Talk program, so that it gets credited accordingly. If you happen to be in an area where you don't have access to New Thought centers, or you don't know where one is, there is a webpage that you can go to that is called findacenter.com, and if you go there, they have a world map. You click on the country that you're in, and you work your way down, and you can get to the local area, and you can find one that maybe is within easy travel distance. If not, at least it's the one that's nearest to you where you can make contact with. There will be somebody there that will be able to answer your questions and help give you guidance and direction. We also have another web page that's called newthoughtlibrary.com. If you go to newthoughtlibrary.com, you will find a listing of many of the founding minds, if you will, in the New Thought movement, from Ernest Holmes to the Fillmores to the Florence Scovel Shins. There's just a whole vast number of books that are available to you there, and that you can take and you can read, you can get an understanding, and then you can take these principles and you put them into practice in your life. And when you do, you'll change your thinking. And when you change your thinking, you'll change your life. So as we close up today, as I do each week, I want to remind you, I want to tell you that the power, the presence of God is wherever you are. So may the light of God surround you. May the love of God enfold you. May the power of God protect you, and the presence of God watch over you. For truly, wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Make it a great week, and I'll see you next week.